Welcome everyone to the Falco Community call. If you haven't done yet, please add your name to the HackMD document. And remember, Falco is a CNCF project, so we are following their code of conduct. That means please be kind with each other. And a friendly reminder, this call is being recorded. So if you don't want to show your face, please turn off your camera. Well, I don't see anything on the agenda. Any spontaneous actor, speaker? Oh boy, this is going to be quick.
Yeah.
Oh, great.
Go ahead.
No, Mauro, go on.
I just wanted to ask, what's the status on the libs repo? I know that we have like an issue with regression tests that's been open for some time, and there's a PR that hasn't been merged yet. And also, when's the expected moment to not tag, because I don't think we have that yet, but the final bump before the next Falco release, so we can kind of pull that into our fork?
Does any of the libs maintainer want to respond to this, or?
I believe it mostly depends on the Falco release. I remember that we picked one version, maybe we will bump the driver again. And maybe, I do not guarantee that, maybe we will tag the first lib version.
Cool.
Federico, what do you think about that? Is it too early?
I'm targeting the next Falco release for the tag of libraries. So finger crossed. I hope we can provide it.
To be honest, one big issue is the KubeCon that will take a week, and also some of us are preparing some talks, so it takes time, of course.
Yeah.
But if everything goes well, we will do it.
Awesome.
The biggest thing that's probably blocking the libs tagging, even though we don't have tags, is the unstable plugging API. So just like a brief recap, we discovered that the plugging API was not as complete as we thought. So there were a few pieces missing of feature, and we are actively adding few pieces over the past few months. So we had to introduce a breaking change and bump the plugin API version to 1.0.0. And basically, the biggest thing is that we also need to re-release the plugin SDKs, all the maintained plugins, and all that kind of stuff. So that's probably the biggest thing that will, block libs to be pulled, in a stable way before the Falco release. Other than that, I'm not sure. Maybe syscalls or compilation issues. We fixed a bunch of those for the last week, I think. And thanks, Taylor, by the way, for all the reviews on that part.
Yeah. I wanted to highlight that we will bump the plugin API version to 1.0. This also means that hopefully we will not introduce any breaking change in the near future. I hope, at least. This is what we want.
All right, I think Leonardo wanted to say something else.
Yeah, I just wanted to say thank you to Andrea Terzo for his proposal that I read a couple of days ago. And also I wanted to say +1 for me to add him as a libs maintainer. So if nobody disagree, I think I can approve the pull request.
Thank you, Leonardo, for both the support for the proposal and the other proposal for the maintainer one.
Yeah.
Congrats, Andrea.
Yeah, I think we need more and more libraries maintainer, because at the moment we were just freeze because Leonardo was not there. We weren't basically able to merge anything. And yeah, that's not good.
Yeah. I hope with the new maintainers I will do less review and more code. I hope that at least.
All right.
And by the,
Yep. Sorry, Leonardo, I didn't want to.
no. I was just saying welcome, Andrea.
You guys.
Okay. Any more topics?
Yeah, I'd like to raise again the test topic because I was pretty interested in the work that Maur was doing about the SCAP open. Did you have any news about that? And you presented something with the SCAP open a few weeks ago.
On the scenes example,
Yeah.
maybe? Oh, yeah. I opened a PR to allow it to output JSON directly, which should make everything a lot easier because you can just write any measures like language. You can just go JSON.parse and just have the event there. Other than that, it's not had a lot of traction, but I do feel like it'd be nice to start adding some quality assurance to the repo. Any suggestions that anyone might have, I'm more than open to listening to them and help in any way possible.
All right, I guess I recalled wrong because I was playing a bit with the SCAP open, not the Sims example, so a bit lower.
No problem.
Yeah. Anyway, it's something useful.
I have heard that the recent Falco 0.31.1 release might have some eBPF verifier issues. I think that because of the pull request by Luca that is not there on the security fix. And I think we need some more testing before we need to fix these before the next release, basically. Yeah, Angelo is working on that at least. He's trying to do something on that, but we will make sure to fix these issues before the next release.
Yeah, swimming in the bytecode.
Yeah, and Arizona is the new master of the BBF, so we are covered.
I will help you, Phil.
That brings up the urge to have a new BPF probe that avoids all these problems.
Yeah, we hope it.
Good. So I see another topic on the agenda from Frederico. Is it you?
Hey, yeah, this is from you, Teryl. So we've been working on this sort of a SDK for the libs. And we actually chatted a little bit with Jason and some maintainers. We just wanted to bring this up, something we started a few years ago. We revamped it after Luca mentioned that this could be maybe a good thing to do. So it's essentially an SDK. It wraps also some interfaces for a C library for the libs, and also a Go wrapper, so you can also implement consumers in Go directly. And there are 3 examples in this repo that I put it in there. There's some instruction on how to build them, but essentially you can build a C consumer that reads live captures, but also files from the file system. You can also build C++ using the SINSP interface, and build a Go consumer. And I think one of the nice things is there's a hello libs here, how you can use it. I don't know if I should share my screen. I'm talking to. Yeah,
sure. I was
that.
just sharing the agenda because the URLs were there.
Yeah, this way where I'll talk, at least I can point to things. Can you see my screen?
Yep.
Yeah, so this is the repo I was just saying, right? There are examples in here. Actually, we built 3 examples of C++, C, and GoSCAP C++ is using the SINSP directly. And the hello libs shows how to build it using some make files we're putting here. I think the nice thing is this part, and that could also give birth to some additional PRs we can send directly to the libs. But essentially, there are two images. They are right now hosted inside of our fork of the libs project, inside the sysflow organization. And we have a little CI on GitHub that is building those two images. But essentially what those two images do, it actually is the CMake, the installers that Teryl created to install the entire libs, the libraries and the headers inside this image, and also kind of gives you a dev environment, right, to build consumers from it. So that's a base image, and it comes with two built-in environment variables, because that's a challenge that we found when we were, building sysflow from scratch, that we need to cherry pick which flags to add, which static libraries to include. So I think one thing that we could propose here, if the maintainers like the idea of supporting an image for the libs, a base image for the libs, is the idea to also maintain those two variables that would give you the C flags and the LD flags that you need to build consumers. That makes our life much easier. I'll show how we use them. And then there's a runtime that is essentially the bare bone driver loader with the bare bone runtime that you need to run this consumer. So the idea that we're going to have a Docker file that looks more or less like this. Let me show the example here for the cscan. That it's a multi-stage Docker file. So in the first builder phase, you use the libs image, and then you build your application. And then in the runtime phase, you copy from that builder your binary or whatever else you need. And then you add your entry point here, and the loader will, or the command here, the loader, the entry point loader will run. There's an option here for run this as a file, but if you don't pass it, I'll leave it empty. It's going to be the live capture. So that's how I think we envision a little SDK where folks could easily build small, compact libs consumers and don't have to worry too much about all the inners of the libs ecosystem. So let me show you, for example, for cscat, the make file is pretty simple because you can just use the built-ins for the C flags and the LD flags. So that makes whoever is writing a hello world libs application, I think the life of that person much simpler. And if you look here in the SDK, there is in the source, you'll see the two wrappers. Potentially Jason was suggesting that the C interface here, which basically builds a static library libs.h or libs.a, it's basically wrapping like a vanilla C interface for the libs. So it's hiding all the C++ types and exposing vanilla C types here. And that's how we build that C consumer. So maybe that could actually be pushed onto the libs repo eventually. But for now, what we would like to do, at least following what Jason was suggesting to us, if you guys like the idea, we would like to donate this repo to the Falco project and maybe open a PR and evolution, and we start building from this, right? I think that could, Teryl, do you have any words? I think you did a lot of work here too, so I want to say some words.
Yeah. So the SDK, like certainly all the APIs aren't there, but we're hoping over time to build in and add in more.
Yeah,
but what this really does is it really enables people to consume not only the scat files but also to really be able to write processors or consumers of the libs very easily, and so we can support things like Go. We can write a Python wrapper and stuff like that. So you can do all sorts of different types of analytics using the scat data, and really I think be able to really build out some cool tools and be able to build out very rapidly. So
like you just said, right, Teryl, this is a minimum, like a minimum viable interface. There's the basic stuff here. We also have to expose some constants and things like that in the future. If you go to the C wrapper, we are using Go. So this guy here is just like a placeholder for the LD flags, but the actual interface goes in the different files here. So you have the inspector, and again, we have the CGO, mapper to here. So just, a way for people to quickly and easily build, for example, a Go consumer from the libs. Anyway, and this, of course, is the libs. So the key is the C wrapper, right? That allows us to do those things. Yeah, any comments from folks?
I'm going to go first just because I touched base with you over the past few days about this. I think this is great for adoption because, allowing people to adopt libs even in applications that are not C or C++ based. I think that's a big +1 for, the popularity of the project, and will help a lot of folks using those tools. And in my opinion, yeah, the C part might be inside the libs repo, mostly because it can be the big common part that aggregates all the SDKs for all other languages. In my vision, this could go inside a directory of its own, like the chisels, for instance. And maybe the libs maintainer can comment about this, but I think that will be valuable, so that in the donation process, we can have the C interface inside the libs directly, and eventually even the Docker images, I guess, but that's maybe a design thing that I'm not strong about. And then having one separate repo for each libs SDK project for each language, like we have with the plugin SDKs too. So maybe that will be the thing. We can have a discussion about this either here or in the evolution PR. And I'm pretty excited about this, and great work.
I must agree with Jason, and also I'm very excited about this. I think it's worth to have it in the Falco Security anyway. Even currently, I cannot imagine all use cases of this SDK, but I think it's great. Congrats.
Well, thanks for the comments. And one thing that I'd like to point out, and that may be something that we start soon, because the SDK uses those two images, right, to make everybody's life easier. Maybe what we wanted to do also is open PRs for, and Leo helped us with this, right, to carry the history of the driver loader. So we have those two basically images here. So this one builds the runtime, and this one builds the libs proper. And the driver loader should be scripts, yes. So would it be okay to open a PR for those things?
Regarding the libs artifact, I can say yes, because we have a proposal that already described that. So this match completely. Regarding the driver loader, I don't know, but I would say if you do that in 2 different pull requests, we can discuss that directly in the pull request. I mean, I believe it makes sense to have that script there. Okay.
Yeah. Yeah. Just a comment, Leo.
Yeah.
This guy here depends on that script, right?
Okay.
Right. Yeah. So I think we can have a discussion. Maybe we can open a PR, and then we can discuss. Right now, this is not, like I said, the SDK right now is sort of depending on those 2 images, and they are right now hosted here inside. Inside this repo in the Sysflow organization.
Okay, I got it.
Yeah.
I got it. Yeah. Okay. Just make a PR, and then we will discuss it there with all the maintainers.
Thank you for your time. Appreciate it.
In my opinion, I think we can, maybe someone can go against this, but we can start by having that in libs, and eventually if we feel more comfortable moving the script inside libs from Falco, we can think about it. Plus, there haven't really been a public discussion about this, but me and Leo once hypothesized the idea of creating a Go made tool.
Exactly.
Instead of having a bash script for that. That will probably prevent many bugs like we had in the past. So we don't really know how that will go. So my vote will go for first opening PRs for the images, and eventually find out what's the best location for the loader script in the future.
By the way, this is just an anticipation. This is an early idea I have. We already have Falco Cattle, Falco CTL, that is most abandoned. I'm trying to think how to re-architect it a bit in order to use it for plugin distribution or also for rules distribution. I have talked a bit also with other maintainers, people, so maybe I will work a bit on that. And maybe it could be also a good candidate to replace that huge bash script that at some point it will be unmanageable. On the other hand, maybe a simpler version of that script could still work for libs. I don't know. I'm just making some hypotheses about that.
I have a question for well, Mauro. At this point, looking at this, do you think that will help one step forward to trying to define API boundaries for libs-sdk or libs-sdk? Because this is kind of a wrapper, but it kind of gives some sort of hint of what's useful from the outside and what's not. So,
honestly, since our project already uses it's C++ and it compiles directly, maybe not directly to us, but having a stable API that you have for your project will definitely give you at least some semblance of stability. And it will probably also make it a lot easier to test because you know where your entry points are and you know what's expected from them. So you can just write integration tests or unit tests for them pretty easily instead of just going around every class and trying to find out, is this something public, is it not, how is it supposed to work, what is it supposed to do? I think it's great, honestly.
And always me, and a kind of uncomfortable question for Teryl and Fred. Did you have the chance to kind of benchmark the Go wrapper version of this? Because while developing the plugin SDK Go, we found out that the CGO layer, it's not optimal sometimes. So I'm just wondering if you had any time spent on measuring how bad or how good it performs.
No, not yet, but that's a great next thing to do.
Yeah, we were actually. No. Sorry, go ahead, right?
No, go ahead.
I was just saying, yeah, we were planning on seeing maybe putting a version inside of our processor and seeing how that would work. But I also think though, from a just from a standpoint of people that are afraid of C and C++, it may give them a way into writing some more applications on top of the libs, even if it isn't as necessarily as performant. But yes, we want to to check out some of the performance as we go along here for sure.
Yeah, I think we didn't even tap into the use cases, right? But folks could build, dev utilities or debugging utilities using this as well. So I don't know. There are many applications, I think.
At the very least, I think it would be useful just for prototyping stuff. You don't really need to have something that's super performant for everyone. Maybe you just want to try it and see is this okay for my project? So if you have a Python package somewhere, you can just try it with that. And if it works and you need more performance, you can try to move it on to C++ or whatever. It's still useful to have.
On the right side, since I like Go, I can say that in the CGO communication, from my experience and probably Leo's too, the Go to C part function call is not the most costly one. So, and one big step of optimization that we found out in the plugin SDK Go is trying to avoid string copy, because every time you pass a string, it gets copied by CGO, and we adopted some trick basically to prevent this. And once the repo is merged, there will be probably time for having a conversation on how to maybe.
By the way, as far as I know, newer version of Go are still improving the Go to C call. The other way around is a bit more complex.
Yeah, the C2Go one is probably the worst, but
But that's what you guys do, right? In the plugin system, you're doing the C2Go,
Yeah,
which is yeah.
We basically created a huge stuff to work around that.
Yeah. This is
Yeah.
much simpler, right? Because
Yeah.
we're doing
no,
the other way
exactly.
around. So
yeah.
But very cool. Thanks. We'll definitely look into performance as well. And
Yeah.
once this is merged, if folks want to help out, that would be great too. It's just the beginning, I think.
Yes. Yes.
Yeah, big +1 on this project for me. I will be happy to see that in the evolution repo.
Me too.
When you're
Me
ready.
too.
Great. I hope you don't mind. Sorry, Leonardo, go ahead.
No, I was just saying you can start to open an issue in the evolution repository right now, even if you are not ready. So in this way, we can start the discussion with others.
So I was about to say, I hope you don't mind. I marked this as a highlight of the call. I really enjoyed it. Okay, any more topic? No. Then
maybe one last update, since many folks are interested in libs. I found the root of the memory leak or memory abuse, how you want to call it, that we had in Falco 0.31, and many people reported it. And it is fixed right now. So hopefully nothing like that is still present. From my Valgrind profiling, it doesn't. It's not there anymore. But hopefully nothing comes up before the next release. So that's fixed into libs too, not only Falco.
great. Should I ask more topics? Okay. I won't be able to be MC next week. I'm on a conference, so if anyone wants to volunteer now,
I can do it if you want. I can try.
it's a great experience. Okay, guys, very nice talking to you, and well, have a nice day ahead.
Thank you very much.
Bye, guys.
Thank you.
Bye.
Thank you.
Bye bye.